and Cirillo. They come to meet with 300 metres left to go. After them to Chimes and Zuav. Infamous Fox and Queen Supreme are towards the middle of the course, and then came Socrat. Hawam in front, but Cirillo won't lie down. Third place is Queen Supreme, but now Hawam kicks, and Hawam's got a 2-length advantage over Cirillo, and the big boy's back. Hawam has won. Second to Queen Supreme. Hawam shot clear, 120 left to go from South Africa to the world. This is Hawam, this is what he can do. Hawam is special.
Couldn't have been an easy choice for Callan Murray if he had the choice.
Yeah, he had the choice. They're two very nice horses. Najim Sohail, for me, is probably an out-and-out sprinter. He's very quick. Whereas Mount Pleasant's got a little bit of a sort of sprinter miler look about him. I think he wants to go around the turn. Also, a very, very nice horse. They go really fast in a race like that. He can mow them down. You could see last time he was with 400 to go, he couldn't win, and he got there. And the filly confirmed the form of Sean's. So, two really nice horses. Different, but very nice horses.
The kind of love affair that young Craig Zaki had with Another Russia is the same kind of affair that Callan Murray has with Queen Supreme. He really gets on exceptionally well with her.
Yeah, he does. She ran a cracker last time. But, my instruction to Marco was not to really bash her about, give her a nice ride, drop her out, power home. From a bad draw, you try and press forward, you finish up running deep, you don't run on. You learn nothing. The horse has an unpleasant experience. She came out of the race really well. It was a good experience for her. But it's quite a competitive field, this, I thought. There's a few 3-year-olds are going to probably be a lot better than they are rated. So a good race, actually.
The defending champion, of course, is Hawam. And the defending champion of the horse chestnut last year is there as well, with Lyle Hewitson aboard. Perhaps a trifle disappointing in the horse chestnut, Socrat?
Not really. At the end of the day, I think he needed it probably more than we thought. He had been on a farm for 6 weeks doing nothing, so I think that caught him out. Whether he's quite back at his absolute level best yet, I don't know. He's been doing better at home, and he seems to get better and better as the days go on. But he's got a sort of long-term view in Natal. We're hoping to go down with him for for the July at least.
It seems like the other day that Hawam ran at Turffontein in the stickless race, which made history. His career's gone so fast, and from the reputation that preceded him, might be one of the better horses that you've had to do with in your career.
He seems to have settled down a little bit as he's got older. A lot of the things that happened to him have also been not completely his fault. I mean, the Derby, I'm convinced that was, that probably shouldn't have happened, but it did. He gets a bad rap for it. I mean, there's the Hawam Haters Club out there that, they just love bagging him wherever they can. But at the end of the day, this has been a very, very good horse. There's not too many horses that have won more Group 1s than him.
And it would wrap the most incredible June for Sheikh Hamdan. He had the most sensational Royal Ascot. This would just put the cherry on the top in little corner of Africa.
Look, Andrew, we know there's no fairy tales in this game, but he's had a fairy tale month, including a Group 1 earlier in the month with Hawam. But a fantastic week at Ascot. And, I know we all like to use these cliches that people deserve things and all that kind of thing. But this man really does. I mean, he is one of the world's great owners, and loyal, supportive, and he's been a great patron for South African racing. And he whatever comes his way is, and I really mean it, is deserved.
We're going to start off with the Premier's Champions Challenge. It's a race that you've won on 3 separate occasions with 3 outstanding individuals. Fair to say that whatever you've got running in this year's race would have to be very, very good to beat Hawam.
Yes, I agree with you, Andrew. Thanks. At this stage of the game, we're not looking to run a whole lot of horses. Tierra del Fuego is probably going to be my sole representative. Obviously, depending on whether the jockeys are allowed to travel or not to Durban. He has a lot of speed, but the mare of Tierra has plenty of stamina. So the fact that he's a jet master out of a Northern Guest mare, even though the Skitskisels Dam did have a lot of speed, there is enough in the pedigree to suggest that he should go the extra. But this might at these weights, if he can run on well, we may just be eyeing the July with him. He's a young, improving colt. He's done very well up to now. He finished the race off very nicely. Obviously, we are in winter going now, and unless your front runners are weakening, it's not easy to run on from off them. I think he ran where he would have run. I think it was a fair race. There's no stories. At level weights, that's probably where he was good enough to run.
Accompanying Terra del Fuego in the President's Champions Challenge is the Summer Cup winner, Tilbury Fort, who didn't run too badly in the horse chestnut at all.
Yeah, funny enough, he ran to his rating. However, he's meeting the same horses, and they all probably run very similar races. Small field, hoping we can pick up a check. He's doing well.
Well, before we started this conversation on camera, I said to you that I thought by the incredibly high standards of the Sean Tarry yard that I don't think you had the very best of days when racing resumed on Wilgebor's Drift Triple Tiara Day. You very quickly put me in my place by telling me that all the horses ran really well, bar two horses, and one of them was Shenanigans and the other one was Return Flight. And COMPUTAFORM Sprint is a race that will also be run on the day, and a blind man from a helicopter could see that the most progressive sprinter in the country just has to be Mr. Flood. I think there's very few that would argue that point.
Yeah, brilliant performance at the Val the other day, breaking the course record. Really, really impressive win. Chimichurri was a little ring rusty, but having said that, once again, winter going, the game changes a little bit. But he's certainly come on a lot with that run. He hadn't run since Cape Town. That run will bring him on in leaps and bounds, and we certainly weren't going to go chasing Mr. Floods early on in the race. I've got an interesting runner in Spring Break, a 3-year-old filly that didn't get the 6 furlongs in Cape Town. She's working really well, and she's showing me a lot of speed, and I actually expect a massive run from her.
And in the dance, I know that you expressed a measure of confidence about a good run in the Charity Mile. She didn't give you a bad run at all.
Yeah, she ran well. She was looking for running at the wrong time in the race. She's run second in the Ipitombi, I think it is. Yeah, so she gets the mile, but she's also a filly with plenty of speed. But there's a strong chance she'll run in Joburg.
As always, thanks very much for the Aussie perspective. Starting off with rapid fire in the first leg of the PA on Champions Day.
Yeah, look, she's a filly that won impressively first time out. She's not the biggest horse in the world, and so we took a call that we were always going to go from her maiden into the nursery with her. She's shown us enough at home that we didn't feel like we needed to step her out again and try and prove something to ourselves. It's by no means an easy field, but she is a quality filly, and it would be disappointing if she wasn't there or thereabout.
So the winter going, she happy with that? Sound filly?
Look, when she ran, she put up a good time early in the year when the going conditions were good. I've seen there's been one or two quicker times now when the going's being a little bit more on top, but she seems to be coping with this type of going fine. She's really put up a good gallop last week, and her prep coming into the race we're happy with. Yeah, Magic Blaze is a horse that we think is definitely going to be much better when we put him over a 14 and a mile. He's a quality sort. Unfortunately, he's the type of horse that's really, he's got a bad habit of he jumps out and he races a little bit keen. So we've brought him back to the sprint. I know we've put him in a Group 2 sprint, but as a 2-year-old, you only get one opportunity as these type of races. So we nominated him for the maiden and for the Group 2 on the day. And if he had to land up coming up and running and even into the money now, it would be beneficial to us and to the owners, and we're winning either way because we just want him to come out, relax and finish his race instead of going up in front and being the donkey for the rest of them. I still think that he's a quality type of horse, and it wouldn't surprise me if he settles early on if he's running on late.
On paper, you're all running for second with Queen Supreme's run in the horse chestnut. We know she's a high-class filly, but Wily Wench is definitely no slouch.
obviously she's a quality filly, not just a run in the Horse Chestnut. Run in the Summer Cup was also really good. So she's been a filly that when she stepped up against the boys and in that type of company, she's shown how good she is. So I think it'll be very tough for this type of field to beat that filly. But weirder things have happened in racing, and we wouldn't be taking our chances if we didn't think we had one. Wiley Wench, she's a filly that's, her career's been a bit interrupted with the COVID-19. She's a filly that has seemed to improve with each run. She's still, she's winning despite of still being a bit green. We know that we're stepping up in big company, and this is going to be a really tough ask for her, but she has been improving with each run, and it'll be nice to see how she can feature in this type of race.
You very, very handsomely represented in a quality race, the Computaform Sprint, and few would argue the fact that Mr. Flood's performance the other day at the Vaal when he broke the track record was absolutely sensational. You were in the race, you know how good he is, but Down to Zero, Au Revoir and Riverine are your three runners.
With the program being congested, we're really happy that Au Revoir managed to get into the race, because it looked like, before the noms came out, it was going to be touch and go whether we could get him into the Computaform Sprint. Having said that, he's a horse that on his day, when he wants to put it together, he really can run quick fractions and maintain the pace. So if he brings his best foot forward, he could be in the shake-up as he has been before. Down to Zero is a horse that's a bit niggly, and he has got his issues. So we made a call a couple of months ago, not knowing that there was going to be the COVID-19, that we would prep him towards the Computaform Sprint. Having the extra time has actually been really beneficial to this horse. He's moving really well. It'd disappoint me if he doesn't run a good race. Riverine ran a cracker the other day, running second behind Mr. Flood, and he's coming to this race in great condition.
And of course, Riverine, we all know he just absolutely hates the soft. He's not going to get the soft on Saturday.
Yeah, he's definitely a horse that, with the Computaform Sprint generally being at the time of the year it is, having rain before doesn't really suit him. So it's a blessing in disguise that the going is on top for us. And who knows, maybe this is his year and he can come cause an upset, but a happy moment for us.
8th of the afternoon sees your entry being Karina.
Yeah, Karina is also another filly with obviously having the COVID, not to continue going on and on about that, but she's a filly that won impressively first time out. She did have her niggles and we had to put her out for a while. Came back and now she started to move really well. But there was nothing with the congestion of the program to prep her towards this race. We would have loved to have given her 1 or 2 more runs, get her rating up, and get her to prove herself that she would definitely be competitive in a race like this. Having said that, although her rating's low and she just got in, we do think she's better than where she is at the moment. And this race on Saturday will definitely prove to us where we stand with her. If she happens to win like with this, it'll give us a good plan forward for next season.
And finally, you get in your car, you go to the races, you're thinking to yourself, we do a lot of hard work behind the scenes. If you had to have a gun to your head, which would be your strongest chance of picking up some really solid stake checks on Saturday?
So to go stake checks, I'd probably say Rapid Fire and Riverine.
Are very handsomely represented in the first of the afternoon. Do you have a particular preference?
I would lean towards the Villa Grand. She's more of a sprinting type. The other filly, G for the Go, is looking for a bit further ground, more ground.
Okay, eyes on the Tiger in the second.
Second start in his career, not a bad first start. Finished a couple of lengths off, so with a bit of improvement, he could run a place.
This magnificent filly behind you, without any doubt, the best progeny of Brave Tin Soldier. Running Brave, she's in a tough race, but she's equal to the task on her day.
That's right, Andrew. She's honest as they come, and a bit of a wide draw to overcome. But we've got to try and do something in a big race, and she's working well. So not an easy race. It's a very competitive race. Many decent fillies in there. But if she gets a bit of luck in the running, she's in there with a shot.
So you would be probably hoping for a soft lead if that's possible.
If that's possible, yes, that would be ideal. But races don't always work out like that. So we'll just have to see.
Okay, and then it's a tough choice in the 9th of the afternoon.
He's got a very low merit rating. But one thing, he's a decent stayer. He's got a lot of stamina, and wouldn't surprise me to see him run a place.
a horse called Shippers for Jeff Woodruff, who's not well at the moment. We obviously wish him a very, very speedy recovery, but this is a very high-class filly that you click extremely well with.
I spoke to Tim this morning and he's doing a lot better, so speedy recovery, Gov, and we're hoping he'll be back at work in a couple of days. Shippers, she's a superstar. She's done everything we've asked of her. My only concern is that she hasn't had a prep run, but the Gov has done a lot of work with her at home, and she won this race last year.
In a common canter.
Yeah, she won it very well. Look, she's very game. She's very honest. We've got a bit of an inside draw, which is a slight concern, but she always puts her best foot forward.
And then we move on to another very talented filly called Sunshine Silk. You also have struck up a great rapport with her.
Yeah, she's quite quirky. She's doing really well at home. Her coat's looking good. Her last run was a tad disappointing, even though it was a trip too short for her.
I know Jeff said to me that day that he actually preferred her over the stable companion.
Yeah, especially she wasn't carrying any weight, and she just didn't get home last time. But she loves the course and distance. She also won this race last year. She's got quite a hefty weight, 59 kilos to shoulder, but I think she deserves the weight. And you've got to be very kind and soft and caring and loving to her, and she likes to be cuddled.
Callan, things are rolling nicely for you. All the hard work during lockdown is paying dividends, and Lasher Star is your first ride on the day.
Well beaten last time in terms of distance, but I think beaten by a nice filly, and I thought it was a good run, particularly for her. I do think it's probably still short of her best, so I'd probably like to see her running on at the line.
Excellent. Then the filly's nursery start off with Sweet Sensation.
Obviously don't know too much about her, but she did have a run in the week, looked to be running on well. I think she is rated to be a nice filly by the Speed stable, so let's just hope that she can show something on the day.
I remember speaking to Mike about Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, look, the choice wasn't easy for me in this race. Najim Sahel won a good race, and so did Mount Pleasant. I think Najim is probably a fast and at this stage a more forward horse. I just like the class of Mount Pleasant, so I went with him. I think he has come on from the run. Definitely a horse that we'll see over further in future, but I think he'll still be able to hold his ground over a sprint.
I have to say that Queen Supreme has got to be the filly of your dreams.
She certainly is, and big thanks to all the owners for keeping me on her. It's such a privilege. She's a lovely filly. She seems to be in a very good space, in somewhat of a competitive field, but obviously I'm just hoping that her class can prevail.
The Spice stable also churning out the winners, and Sing for Rafa, there are not too many fillies faster than her.
100%, got tons of speed, and that's what you need in the COMPUTAFORM sprint. So look, as you said, Mr. Spice in good form. I haven't worked the horse, but looks like she certainly can be competitive.
Frankie Dettori will tell you that there are not many horses that will ever be able to compare to horses like Enable or Golden Horn, or maybe even Stradivarius recently in Ascot. But this horse, Awam, he's just the movie star, and he just does everything right these days.
Yeah, as you said, I'm glad you touched on that. He's doing a lot of things right. I personally think that he's come out of that last run a better horse. Obviously to a trip that looks to be his best over 10 furlongs. So I'm really excited to be on him again. As I said, he's in a great space, and I'm sure he'll reflect that on the track.
Fantastic. And then a filly that lives up to her name, Gin Fizz. She can be a little bit tizzy, but I know a lot of hard work has gone into her as well.
Yeah, she's tricky. Sometimes doesn't seem to find the line as well as the first 4 furlongs of the race, at least. And last time, obviously, made a muck up in the gates. So, look, I know her quite well. Hopefully, we can get her out well and just see her run to the line as best she can, as that looks a pretty competitive race. And I just hope she can bring her best performance.
Okay, and then on to one of my favourite horses, for no other reason than his name. you riding Ali Bondubai for Jeff Woodruff, and of course we'd like to wish Jeff a very speedy recovery.
Yeah, certainly. So, yeah, definitely wishing Mr. Woodruff a speedy recovery. Ali Bond's a horse that I've had a good association with in my career. Won a couple on him. I didn't think it's the strongest sort of race. I think he can be competitive at his best, and we know that Mr. Woodruff can get them right on the big days. So I'm just hoping he sort of bounces back.
Our initial interview, when COVID-19 became the buzzword, was one of a moving target. Is Sean Terry of the opinion that we're out of the woods and heading in the right direction with positive momentum?
We certainly are. Have a lot of positive momentum in the industry at the moment. Obviously we're all hopeful of the mod bid, and the task team seem to be doing some really good work. The RA, a lot of things still have to happen, obviously, with both Gold Circle and Kenilworth Racing. My favourite saying is, failing to plan is planning to fail, but it's very hard to plan like this.
The business regulations stipulate that people may travel, but obviously this is a unique situation where the proximity of jockeys to each other in the starting stalls and in the weighing room necessitates a little bit more extra care. Is that the line of thinking?
Well, clearly it is, but it's not my line of thinking. The bottom line is, if you want to limit your amount of people on the racecourse, there's many ways to do that. To compromise owners, where you get eliminated every second race meeting, that's not the way. In terms of jockeys travelling, what's wrong with the second jockey room? They don't have to come into contact with each other. What's wrong with the second scale? We need leadership. We need to think out of the box, and we need to protect our game.
The punter is vitally important in making racing sustainable. Owners, trainers and breeders should be driving their betting into official pools such as Interbet's upgraded tote platform, as that contribution helps keep the whole show on the go. Stronger tote pools will boost the stakes pot and make it more attractive to own and breed racehorses. It's a virtuous cycle. Interbet makes deposits available instantly. Interbet offers great customer care with same-day payouts. Our clients can watch all racing live via high-quality streaming. Live betting is offered on many sports from all around the world.